Yo, what's up guys, welcome back another YgoPro duel video. Next episode, the challenger appears, 26,000 subscribers, amazing, thank you all for the support. So next challenger, the deck list you see here is called Last Turn OTK, one of the decks that was suggested in the previous videos about the challenger appears. I think the decklist is pretty standard, pretty straightforward to me, to my knowledge, one of the first ever and most consistent OTK decks well, yeah, it's not really an FTK because it's used during your opponent's turn and you need your setup during your own turn. So let's just call it the Last Turn OTK deck. But the deck is very consistent, using the draw engine of Graceful Charity, Card Destruction, Upstart, Pot of Greed, of course, the Shallow Grave for the two main tutors, and that's Cyber Jar and Morphing Jar. To use the draw engine with Book of Tayu to flip your monster face up, draw cards like with Cyber Jar and Morphing Jar, draw into your key pieces, and thanks to a Wall of Revealing Light you can drop your life points to 1,000 or below. And this way, you open you open the way to activate your last turn, targeting one of your own monsters, meaning Jowgen, since Jowgen prevents your opponent from special summoning, and last turn says your opponent has to special summon a monster from his deck, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, you know what last turn does. Yeah, you know what last turn does. So Jowgen prevents the special summon from the opponent, and thus you will win the duel. But the deck is amazing. The deck is actually consistent, as you will see in a few moments, but sadly there are a lot of outs or counters to this deck, as you will see here in the video, in the duel. But Triple Solemn Judgment to make sure your OTK goes through is also disgusting. But let's hop into the first game. Alright, Modolje is our first victim, and I get to start Cat of Ill Omen at 1 in the deck, since it can search any trap card from your deck and put it on the top of your deck. I believe if you have Necro Valley face up on the field, you can get, or at least you can add the searched card to your hand instead of putting it on the top of your deck. But yeah, it's an instant searcher for any out you want. So immediately activate Wall of Revealing Light, drop myself below 1,000 life points, set a last turn, and then activate a card, and that's GG, well played. That wasn't too hard. You know, you're playing every card like 3 times back in the beginning of this game. 3 Jowgen. Yeah, Jowgen is obviously one of your combo pieces, together with Wall of Revealing Light to drop your life points below 1,000. And then we need last turn to eventually win us the game. And with all these draw cards like Upstart, Graceful Charity, Thunder Dragon to thin your deck, and eventually you can discard it with your Graceful Charity, Cyber Jar, Morphing Jar, flip them face down with something like Book of Moon, or reborn them face down with the Shallow Grave, and flip them face up again with Book of Tayu is just disgusting. It's also something yeah, very similar to like the deck that's called Empty Jar. You probably know it as well, fully based on Morphing Jar and decking your opponent out. Anyway, so I think I only need 1 combo piece. Yeah, I was able to pop my Swords of Revealing Light, so I have to use my Wall of Revealing Light, indeed. And I think I had Solar Destruction button set, so that's also one of the cute parts here of the deck. If I don't succeed in my OTK, then I just make it a draw and try it again. Disgusting, right? So last turn for game. GG. Alright, Bourgeons are up next, and that could be a problem since I know he's playing, or at least the Bourgeon deck is playing triple Veiler, and that's definitely one of the key answers to this deck. So I have to flip over Morphing Jar, draw 5 new cards. Very disgusting since your opponent does draw 5 new cards, but I was the one who starts, so I can set my whole hand and then flip over Morphing Jar to get a tremendous or an enormous plus over my opponent. Book of Moon during the end phase, I believe. So this was a top deck, I believe. Giant Grenade to again send back everything to the hand. Very disgusting. With Morphing Jar, your opponent will lose all the cards that were set and sent back to the hand due to Giant Grenade. And here's where the Book of Moon comes into play. Flip the Cyber Jar indeed back face down to bypass the possible Veiler from the opponent. And he does have it. He obviously chained it, so I chain my Book of Moon. And very cool here, Cyber Jar immediately special summons a monsters to the field. So one Jowgen on the field, and now I can just activate Wall of Revealing Light, pay 7k, and flip over last turn and completely outplay my opponent. GG. Alright, next match, Shaddolls, and this could be your problem, especially when the opponent starts with Shaddolls, and he already, of course, has one of at least 2 outs in his hand, the Heavy Drain, since you can just go for Dora, the rank 10 exceed, and the biggest threat here of Dora is that it makes itself unaffected by the opponent's card effects, and that's a problem because of last turn, so I think your Dora would just stay on the field if I activate last turn, so that's why I used self-destruct button here, since I think I had like 0 outs to Dora, and on top of that he had Skill Drain, so Skill Drain is also one of the biggest threats here of the deck of last turn if I don't have Giant Grenade. So here I have to hope that I win the dice roll, at least get a rock paper scissors game again, but I lose and he gets a start, and of course, yeah, just like previous game, is able to end with Dora, and I think he has a Heavy Drain as an Exceed material, so he can detach and pop 1 card during my turn. He pops the monster, of course, hitting the Morphing Jar, and I have no defense, so I'm going to lose this one. GG, well played. Alright, that's it. Yeah, back in the day, the deck was very consistent, since there were less answers to a last turn or the whole engine and setup compared to today, with all the hand traps and, of course, the bigger card pool. But 3 wins is, of course, I think, good for this kind of deck. Okay, guys, feel free to leave suggestions of decks you want to see in this kind of series. That's it, thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.